Joining me today is New Hampshire State Senator David Pierce, and he's in Senate 5, I believe. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so you're running for re-election.
I am.
You're running unopposed, I understand.
Sort of.
Sort of?
In the primary election in September, 44 Republicans wrote my name in on their ballot. And so I am also the Republican nominee.
All right, so that's pretty much unopposed then, I guess. Or you'll win or you'll win.
I'll win or I'll win. If my Republican self beats my Democratic self, I'm in big trouble.
So, then you have a choice who you're going to caucus with.
Right, exactly.
So, just tell us a little bit about your political philosophy now that you're on both sides of the aisle.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because I grew up in Texas. I grew up as a Republican. And I had an evolution of political thought as I grew up, but my political philosophy is that I think the government should step in to help its citizens where it can, but stay out of the way where it has to. And examples of that, raising the minimum wage, I think is an absolute must for us because there are still people. Even though we have the fourth lowest unemployment rate in the country, we just saw unemployment dip below 6% for the first time. Even though we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country, there's still people that are unemployed in this state. And whether the unemployment rate is 4% or 3% or whatever, when you're looking at an individual family, that's everything. And so I think raising the minimum wage has shown the economic benefits to the economy in general.
Before we get on to the other issues,
Sure.
Can we just stay on that for a second?
Sure.
As you look, that's, I think, going to be a political issue
Yes.
in the next biennium.
Yes.
As you look to that, how would you propose looking at raising the minimum wage? Is it one big jump over a period of time? And where should it go to in New Hampshire?
Right. I think I would support the bill and I did support the bill that came to the legislature last time that the House passed, came to the Senate, and it died by 2 votes. Would be to raise it to, I believe it was $8.15. Right now it's $7.25. Mm-hmm. Raise it to $8.15 and then gradually raise it to $9 and then index it for inflation at that point. And the economic literature is pretty clear that when you raise the minimum wage, the people who make minimum wage are at or just slightly above minimum wage, they don't pocket those savings. They spend that savings, which of course circulates dollars, which increases demand for more goods and services, which raises all boats. And I would support that. I would support that very strongly because especially in places like Claremont, there are still people that are unemployed and we can use that. I remember seeing a political cartoon last year where there were minimum wage workers were in a pit, and all along the side of the pit were these ladders. The ladders were each labeled minimum wage jobs, but they only went halfway up the side of the pit. And then the businesses were all along the circumference of the perimeter of the pit, and the business owners were talking about what can we do to demand, create more demand for our goods and services. And to me, it's just very clear.
So you believe the net benefit is there'll be a multiplier effect?
Of course, because I believe in the demand side of economic theory, and you can look at a lot of Nobel laureate literature on that the net effect of raising the minimum wage is a positive for everybody.
And so you were using this as one example for how you see government intervening when it should intervene.
Right.
Is there an example you have when government should keep hands off?
Right. I think that, on a lot of social issues, and for some reason the social issues really are coming to the forefront in this election. We have a candidate for Congress here in the second congressional district, and that's at the federal level, but who supports a personhood amendment, where it's saying that once the egg is fertilized, that is a person entitled to full 14th Amendment protections, and anything that disrupts that fertilized egg from becoming a person is unconstitutional. That would effectively outlaw any exceptions to abortion, whether for rape, incest, life of the mother, it would outlaw a lot of forms of contraception that women and men and families depend on, without thought. I mean, it's just part of their daily lives, and it's not the government's business to tell people how to run their personal life. Marriage equality, the Republican platform a couple of weeks ago said that they oppose marriage equality, whereas 60-something% of New Hampshire residents believe that marriage equality, the sky didn't fall when that happened. And why should government be in the business of telling people how to, who they can love and who they can't?
So, I mean,
Things like that.
there's where you've got sort of, government should be hands-off on a lot of the social issues of what I'm hearing.
Right, right.
We're just out of time right now.
Okay.